Today things are good, but when I was a little kid and locked up in juvenile detention, I never thought I'd live to see 18, and I was fine with that. I've been on my own since I was 9 years old. My father was in the Italian mafia in New York City. He was shot and killed when I was very young. My mother, my sister took their own lives a year later. So I was sent to an orphanage. It was a horrible, abusive place run by a horrible group of people called Catholics. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the way we were treated, but no one wanted to adopt me. I already had somewhat of a background being the son of a gangster, and I also got into a lot of trouble even at a young age. And most people who adopt kids, they don't really want to adopt somebody who's grown already. They want a baby or a toddler. So no one wanted to adopt me, which meant that I ended up a homeless orphan on the streets of New York City. Now, if you can imagine how bad things could be, I'll tell you that they were even worse.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If you are, why not like the video and subscribe to the channel? Appreciate you.
So eventually I hitchhiked out of New York, made it in the state of Pennsylvania, got in a lot of fights, got in a lot of trouble, stole some cars, broke the law, even punched a cop a few times, which that's not a good thing. Don't punch cops. They don't like that. So, needless to say, I was in and out of juvenile detention pretty regularly. And eventually a nice man got me out of juvie, became my legal guardian. He was a wrestling coach at a local high school. Took me in, enrolled me in high school. I'd never been to school before in my whole life. And he gave me a roof over my head, 3 meals a day. And I loved school. I excelled at school. I loved to read, loved to write papers, loved to learn. And this man completely turned my life around. So I excelled in school. I did well in athletics as well. I was a soccer player and a wrestler. Like I said before, I loved school. I loved to learn about new things that I was interested in. So I left high school, went to Penn State for a year. I was on a partial wrestling and partial academic scholarship. The money I got combined only paid for about half of my tuition and room and board. So I had the other half saved because I worked all 4 years that I was in high school. Now after that year at Penn State, I transferred to the U.S. Naval Academy. Graduated from the academy with 2 degrees, and I was immediately sent off to war. I did a tour in Iraq, I did 2 tours in Afghanistan, came back with all my limbs, thank God, and knew I didn't want to work for Uncle Sam. I had lots of offers, I had a pretty good resume, I had a high security clearance, I also got an Intel pin, so I was trained in lots of different things. But I knew I didn't want to work for the government. I wanted to be a civilian, I wanted to build a business and figure things out on my own. But I had no idea what exactly to do. I had a blueprint in my head, but I had no money and I had no roots anywhere. I didn't know anybody. I was lost. So I knew pretty early on that corporate America wasn't for me. Of the job offers I got, I wasn't really interested in any of them. I just didn't like the idea of going to an office every day, being in traffic to get to my cubicle or my little office and work hard so a company's bottom line is improved by my work, and never really seeing the fruits of that labor. Working for someone else, it wasn't my thing. I admired entrepreneurs. At that time I looked up to people who were self-made, started their own thing and were successful at it and took risks. I had no problem taking risks. I could bet on myself. I was a very confident guy back then. I'm even more confident now. Having come up as a homeless orphan and being able to survive in the world, graduate from a pretty difficult school, and then survive 3 tours in wartime, leading men in combat, and to be decorated with a whole bunch of medals on my uniform, I was confident. So I started my own business, my first business, saved all my money, and yeah, I was a complete failure. I lost it all. My first business, I used all the money I had, which wasn't a whole lot, but it was all I had at the time, you know, and I lost it all. It wasn't a really good business I was getting into. The timing was even worse. And, you know, I had no experience. I was just starting out. But being the confident guy that I am, picked myself up, worked a bunch of different jobs, saved money, and worked a bunch of crappy jobs, saved all my money, started another business, had a little bit of success, made a little bit of money. Okay, started something else, did a little bit better. During this whole time I was learning about business, I was learning about money, I was learning how to make money, how to invest money, how to keep money. It's not always what you make, it's more what you keep. And how to do things like manage other people, a payroll, how to pay taxes. You know, I actually took a tax class and learned the different ways that companies can be set up under tax code, a subchapter S corporation, LLC, et cetera, et cetera. I even did taxes for some small businesses in my town where I was living. So I eventually found some success, and I was self-employed, and I knew that that was for me. Being a self-employed person, making as much or as little as I wanted, depending on how much I wanted to work. But I got to that point where I found some financial success and success mentally. I was working for myself. To me, money has always been about one thing. One thing that I have wanted personally my whole life since I was a homeless kid on the street, and that is security. Money can give you security. It can give you the ability to live life on your own terms, to do what you want. If you want to be independent, if you want to have economic security, financial security, be able to do whatever it is you want to do, then you can do it. It takes hard work, investing your money, consistently doing those things over time, ignoring all the BS you see on social media, buy this, buy that, ignoring all of that, focusing on you. You can do it. You can get to that point where you're financially free and you can do whatever you want. It's incredible. I wake up every morning, I can do anything I want, any day of the week. Go somewhere, get involved in something, sit on my couch and take a nap. Do anything. It's amazing. You could do it, because if some homeless orphan who no one ever wanted could do it, then just imagine what you can do.